Hey designers, welcome! I'm starting a new series on this channel and I'm going to call it Tiny Tips. It will include quick actionable tips and the videos will be very short and digestible. In this first episode, we're going to talk about accordions. So what is an accordion? An accordion is a vertically stacked list of headers that users can click to show or hide content associated with each header. Accordions can be used to show content in a progressive manner because they allow people to have control over the content. And we know giving people control is one of the top heuristics when it comes to usability and UX design. You might have seen a lot of these examples online. When you have a good and a bad UI example side by side. And the problem with these examples is they are completely out of context. We cannot say which one is bad and which one is good just by looking at an example like this. Of course, there are best practices we can apply to the design. However, without knowing the context and the problem the designers needed to solve, we cannot determine if this design is good or bad. There are advantages of using accordions when it comes to a content-heavy page. One of the advantages is you can collapse the headings to reduce scrolling. The other advantage is headings can act as mini information architecture pieces. And overall, the information that we present in a page could feel less overwhelming to users. So in theory, this sounds really good, right? Well, maybe not so much. There are disadvantages of using accordion as well. If users need to click to open all of these topics, then it can be time-consuming, and it can slow them down. Imagine if we have 10 or more of these headings in an accordion. In that case, it might be better to show the whole content on the page instead of hiding information under headings in an accordion. If we stay with an example of an accordion with 10 or more headings, it can be considered as wasted effort from the user point of view. Why do they need to click? Why cannot they have access to all information related to a topic? Another big downside of using accordion is accessibility. If we use accordions, we need to account for additional development effort. While if we expose the content on the page, it's already accessible. It requires less effort from engineers. There are a lot of accessibility considerations that we need to keep in mind as designers, but to just name a few, accordions need to be operated by a mouse click and by touch on smartphone, tablets, and touchscreens. And they need to be operated by keyboard for screen reader users as well. A lot of websites implement accordions for the wrong reasons. They assume users don't scroll the page, while in reality, people do scroll when the content on the page is helpful. They assume people avoid web pages with a lot of content. But actually, we all have the ability to handle huge amounts of information when it's presented properly with the right page hierarchy. There are plenty of studies done on the topic. I will link a few in the description box below, so you can check them out. You might ask, okay, then when to use accordions? Well, that's a really good question. You need to understand your users and user scenarios to properly determine if accordions are appropriate in your design. But I can tell you what I do. I avoid using accordion when the users need most of the content on the page to answer their questions. I wouldn't worry about page length, and I would structure the page in a way that users can consume the content easily by scrolling the page and scanning the headings. The best use of accordions is when people need only a few key pieces of content on a single page. By hiding some of the content, users can spend their time on information that matters to them. Another situation in which accordions are great is when you need to design for small spaces, for example, a mobile device. Let's have a look at a good example of accordion usage. So this page is using accordions really, really well because you can actually get all of the information at a glance. And if you're interested what's included in each of these, you can just click and open up the heading and see more information about it. But you can actually make a decision without clicking the headings. If you do use accordions, give people the ability to open multiple headings at a time so the different parts of the content are available. Items that are opened and closed should remain in that state until the users change it. Here's an exercise for all of you. Let's check out Slack and their feature page. This is how you get here. So if you scroll down, then you can actually see this frequently asked questions part where we see accordions. Like, why should my company use Slack? And then you open it and then you see the reply. So what do you think? Is it a good use of an accordion? If so, then why? And if not, then why not? Well, let me know in the comments below what you think. Boop. That's all from me today, and I see you next time. Bye.